Hello YouTube. In this video I'm going to be going over kind of an overview of a series of videos I'm hoping to put out here. This here is my Mosin Nagant 9130 and it's the first rifle I ever bought and with my own money, and I did a number of upgrades to it back in the day, and it's kind of when I didn't know what I was doing and didn't have a lot of life experience with buying crappy parts and seeing what happens with those. So I thought I'd spend a little money and kind of bring this rifle into like a quality setup. So first thing I plan on doing is replacing the scope. This is a $40 eBay scope with a UTG 22 mount, and this scope mount has never actually fallen off the rifle, but I had just regular 22 scope rings on it before this, and every fifth shot this scope would just come flying off the gun. That's how big the recoil is on these Nagants. And I've never really done, I put this on here, shot it a few times, got other rifles, and kind of put this in the closet and forgot about it. A couple years back I did go ahead and buy the tools to cut, face, and crown the barrel. So this is now cut to 20 inches, and it's a lot handier at 20 inches. I know people, like purists out there, are going to be mad that I cut the barrel, but this is a 9130. There's like 37 million of them out there. It's not exactly like this was a collector's item by any stretch of the imagination. And then I put this, it's got the ATI stock on it, which probably isn't the best stock out there, but for my purposes it works. And like I said, I don't plan on this is never going to be like a super high-end rifle, so that's one area where I'm willing to, I guess, save a little money. If something happens to it down the road or I decide I don't like it, I may put a Boyd's on there eventually, but so far this has worked. I plan on, when I replace this I plan on going with another Scout mount. I'm going to use the Rock Solid Industries Scout mount, which I'll have to reinstall the front sight base here, and then I'll drill and tap everything to install that. And then I got a Vortex Crossfire 2 scope to mount on this. I went with that just because it was kind of the price range I wanted to be in, because I'd like to have a little higher end optic on here, but I also, again, didn't want to, this gun has already been kind of a money pit, so I didn't want to invest too much money in it, but I still want to kind of run that quality line. So Vortex has got a pretty good reputation, and there's some pretty good reviews out there on the Vortex Crossfire Scout mount, or Scout scope. So I'm going to kind of hope and pray and hope I didn't screw up there, because the next one I was looking at was about $100 more, but it was a fixed 4-power scope. The Vortex is a 2 to 7 like this one. I don't know if I actually need the 7 power on there, but I'd like the versatility, and 2 power on this one, back when I used to shoot it a little bit, is really nice for getting on target quickly. Granted, this scope never really held target or held zero very well, but that's why we're replacing it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to thread the barrel and put on a muzzle device. I was going to use a jam nut on the muzzle device, but when I went to thread the leftover section of this just to kind of test it out, it didn't work out quite the way I'd hoped. So I don't think I'll be able to actually thread enough of this to do a crush washer. So my plan is just to silver solder it on. Everything I've read about that is that there's no reason that shouldn't work, and that'll be a lot stronger hold than a jam nut ever would be. And I don't plan on replacing it or ever removing it. If I do, I can just heat the solder up and twist it off. Should be good to go. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install a ring on the safety here just to make it a little easier to use, because anybody that's shot these Nagants and tried to use the safety knows that while that's not super difficult, it's really not that handy, especially if you've got gloved hands. And I know when I've used this for hunting, I just don't load it until I'm in the tree stand and I'm gonna be pretty close to shooting. So having that ring on there to make this easier will make things quite a bit different. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install I'm going to put basically a set screw right here. I'm going to drill and tap this so that my trigger won't have near so much over travel, and then I'm probably going to try and find a way to stop this wiggle. I don't know. I've seen different guys out there have different solutions for keeping the trigger back, so I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do there, and I'll share that with you guys. I have done a little bit of trigger work on this gun. Iraq Veteran 8888 did a video a long while back on kind of how to improve the triggers on these Mosins, and I got this is, I think, sitting about 3 pounds. It's a little lighter than I would like, but I was just trying to kind of clean up the sear engagement so that it didn't have so much take up and it didn't have a 15-pound trigger in it. And in the end, just making both the sear engagement surfaces 90 degrees brought the trigger down to be fairly light. So it is what it is. If it ever gets too bad, I may replace the trigger with something else. I don't know. That's going to be kind of down the road. And I'm trying to think of anything else I was planning on doing. Oh, and then once all is said and done, I plan on doing a final paint job. I've never been really happy with the paint job this thing has, and I didn't put a clear coat finish on this, so as you handle it, your hands turn green, and so I kind of want to get rid of that as well. If you have any thoughts or suggestions on what I can do or something better or anything like that, please leave a comment down below. If you found this video helpful or informative, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.